Welcome to week 9 of Kappas Coaches Corner. Tonight I got Coach Kappas in here with us, and we're going to go over, where the program's at and where we're at going into, again, week 9 against Cincinnati LaSalle. The Leopards are currently 5-3, sitting at number 10, Division II, Region 7, and just coming off of a loss, 27-14 to Green. Coach Kappas, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Coach, we're going to get into the game a little bit, but as we always do, we weren't able to have a show last week, so kind of catch us up on the football program and things that we should know.
Yeah, a lot of things coming to a close there. Little Leopard season is closed up, and they had their final games 2 weeks ago and the All-Star game and stuff this past weekend. So another great season for them, and just a very well-organized season, and, a lot of development from a lot of young kids. So that was really good to see. Our 8th grade team closed up 2 weeks ago. So only won one game, but a lot of development from those kids, and Coach Atkins does a great job with those guys, and excited to get those guys up to the freshman level next year, and get our hands on them. And then last week against Canfield, we dropped the freshman game at Canfield. And then obviously we played Canfield in the varsity game Friday night, and thought that was probably our best half of football in the second half there. One of the best halves of the season there for our guys.
You guys were very physical in the second half.
Yeah, and that was really good to see, and that's the brand of football we want to play. Came up a little short right there, and but it's a multitude of plays from the first half and everything. So, challenged our guys to come out and play a complete game and against Green the next week. And we weren't able to do that, but, freshmen hosted Green, and we're really shorthanded right now with freshmen. We don't have a quarterback right now. So we had Riker Youngin playing quarterback, who's a receiver athlete, and did a tremendous job stepping in.
That'll be a moment he never forgets.
Absolutely. And he might be a quarterback moving forward. Who knows? But did a tremendous job, and, threw some passes, and those guys fought their tail off. They were leading 10-7 in the fourth quarter, and, suffered a couple more injuries late in that game that took out a couple key players. And, kudos to Green. They went down and scored a couple late in the game there, and came up a little short. And then we have the game against Green on Friday, which we'll talk about. And then our JV team hosted Green on Saturday, and really came out and played really, really well. It's just, JV's undefeated right now, and, that has a lot to do with just, the sophomore class and what they're able to do. And it's just, the future of our program's looking really, really bright, especially, with Cody Zaylor coming up as a quarterback, and, just a multitude of guys that are in that sophomore class, and a couple juniors that are really playing well in JV too, that just haven't cracked the field yet on Friday nights. And so that was good to see.
I know I've said before, but I'll say it again. I know that you and your staff put a lot of effort into JV football too. And that's got to be a part of that reason too. Those kids got to feel excited that you're so interested in their game on Saturday.
For sure. And that's, we're always trying to develop the kids, and, showing them how important it is to take every opportunity you get, whether it's practice, a JV game, a freshman game, whatever that is. Take that with, everything you got, and put all your effort into it, because you prepare for that like it's a Friday night game. You're going to be ready for Friday nights. So,
Coach, something you said earlier, and it just reminded me to talk about this with the 8th grade. You're talking about getting your hands on them as a freshman, but you started lifting with those guys, what is that, like February or last year?
Yeah, we actually, it was earlier than that. It was probably in December last year when we started with those guys. And that's a good class. So they're 7th graders coming in, but just teaching them the fundamentals. I remember when I first took the job here, we had freshmen, that weren't physically doing it for a couple years. So
yeah, I think the transition as you move down the ladder, again, when I was here, it was getting the 8th graders lifting early for 9th grade. And now you're really getting 7th graders acclimated to lifting, which is adding a couple years of extra.
Absolutely. And like the data backs it up. Coach Quaz does a great job tracking the data of injuries and how long guys have been training for, and just the preparedness to be a high school level football player. It's hard. It's a lot on your body. And, our injury rates have gone down since we've started the kids earlier. And it's good to see. It's good to see the buy-in from those kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I've already, their season ended 2 weeks ago, and I've already had kids coming up to me the day after, like, "Hey, coach, when does weight training start for seventh graders, for eighth graders, for next year?" They obviously deserve a break and need a break to kind of get their bodies back in shape, but excited to get started with those guys again, and having a year-round plan for those guys, whether they're in season playing another sport like wrestling or basketball or baseball, still getting opportunities for those guys to develop physically, and I think that's going to pay off down the road.
And not going too far down the side road of strength and fitness, but I know that Kwasnica and you work hard at, just like you said, guys playing other sports, but football is a very demanding sport on your body. You have to prepare, and it's not just about going in and throwing weight on the bar and doing weight. It's about getting your whole body physically fit all year round, no matter what sport you're playing, to be ready for the test that football puts on your body.
Correct. And most of the kids are in our classes that it's in weight training. So, we're developing the whole athlete. And it's not football specific by any means. It's trying to get these kids ready for any sport year round, to develop their tendons, to develop their muscles, to run, to jump, explosiveness, strength. Obviously, kids that are in the off season, we're trying to add size to them, and so it's we kind of cater to kids that are what their goals are, what we see them as, what sport they play, and it's not just again, it's not just football in our classes. So it's fun to work with all those kids and see the unity and the camaraderie, and those kids really earn respect from their classmates. And guys that are playing soccer, that are lifting with football. Again, it's not football specific by any means.
Right.
But those kids are in there working hard, and it's fun to watch. Just the community that we've developed and the culture we've developed. As there's a sense of urgency with young kids now that hey, we got to get ready, and there's no time to waste.
Absolutely. All right, Coach, let's go into the game a little bit. I picked out some highlights from the game, kind of go over. Rob, if you can roll this first clip here. This is McCroby with a tackle for a loss. Thought he did a nice job in some plays Friday night.
Yeah, Xander playing a little bit more on defense this week with Trevor Burek being a little hobbled, but he played really, really well in this game. This is, I think, the second play of the game right there. Just staying square, getting his hands on his target, and then seeing the ball. And he's a big body. He's only a sophomore. Started for us last year as a freshman. Just a very, very promising young player.
I don't know. Is he in a shade there, Coach? Or
he's kind of inside the tackle there.
So he's able to get his hands on.
Yep.
And can make a play
get outside. Yep.
Yeah, I thought that was impressive. All right. Now we're going to go to the next play, which is tackle for loss by, I think, both Doherty and Cordes.
Yeah, I mean, both these guys, I think Cordes had another 4 TF tackles for loss. Doherty had another 3. Just, understanding the scheme, what we're trying to do, how they're trying to block it. And great job by Cordes really attacking the block, seeing that, tailback coming at him to block him, and Doherty reading his keys really well and really attacking that. So that's a great job by both those guys.
Let's see that one more time, Rob.
They put 2 running backs in the backfield, which is, they can hand it to either one of them going the either way. So it's not easy to, and then, they'll line up an empty in these personnel sets too. So it's Green poses a lot of challenges in terms schematically of how you line up. But our guys did a great job handling that stuff.
Yeah, great job getting outside that blocker and inside the blocker. No place to run. Here we got this next play is a nice pass by Gabe to Candle. I think it was Candle that caught this.
Yeah, again, Candle just a scramble master, just always seems to find the open area. And, this is what Gabe does really, really well, just running a quick game stuff. And guys, they're sitting on that route, which is, a play we run a lot, but we've created a lot of big plays on scrambles on that route. And that's something we practice a lot. That specific play, especially breaking down and guys running short routes, going deep.
I loved how he got into his route and then he shuffled and got depth and got open.
Yep.
Found a vacancy.
Yeah, so he's the second receiver here down at the bottom. Just great job getting in there, feeling that he's kind of covered, finding an open area, and then feeling Gabe kind of work, and then he kind of gets down the field. But that's a big play. I mean, a lot of our big plays have been made off of situations like that.
So now going into another big play offensively, got the ball to your tight end Baker here.
Yeah, we're always trying to find ways to get him the ball because he blocks his tail off every game. And this is just a kid that's just getting better every single week. It's just a sophomore, really grown into his body. We kind of saw this formation on film on how we could, get him open, and a great touch pass there by Gabe. And, Jake's a guy that in the games, you get him the ball. He doesn't drop many of them, and he's an explosive player. So
it was funny. I was sitting by his dad in the game, and somebody said, great play. And he says, 9 yards short of a great play. He wanted to see him in end zone.
Yeah.
That was a really nice, especially for a tight end. All right, here we go. We got an interception by, I think, Seaman after this quarterback scramble.
Yeah, huge play here. Their quarterback was he's tough to contain. So we get him wrapped up, and Jake Beard's like trying to get him on the ground here. Great job by Luke there, just kind of reading the quarterback and feeling out the play. And great catch too. He goes up and gets it. We'd like to see this one get to the end zone because we end up getting stopped on this drive on the next play or on the next 4 downs. But that's a big play in the game that gave us a ton of momentum. We were up 14-7 at that point and had an opportunity to go up and go up 21-7.
All right, so we're going to come back to defense here, and this is a sack by your linebacker. I'm trying to see. I thought it was Candle, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, they're changing their play, so we change our play. So just kind of blitzing the house here. They change their play based off of the look that they get. So we're able to kind of change our defense and
brought some heat there.
Yeah, brought some heat, and those guys did a great job timing up the blitz. That was again Cordis and Doherty there on that sack.
Okay, so then we got another one here, and I think this was Doherty and potentially Cordis too. But no, this was a single play by Doherty. He had a nice night.
He had a great night, and he's had a great night the last couple weeks. Doherty's just he's got a nose for the football. He's a hard-nosed kid. He runs. He wants to punish ball carriers when they get the ball. I think he ended up having 15 tackles in this game.
Wow.
He's through 8 games. He's at 95 tackles right now. Been our tackle leader almost every time. He actually, Xavier Bordello beat him by 1 tackle in this game. He gets better every single week. He's a junior. That's why he's a captain. Again, controls the defense out there, makes sure everyone's lined up. And
comes ready to play every day.
He does. He really does.
Yeah. All right, Coach. Well, those are our highlights from the game. As we close the Green game, and we're sitting at 5-3 right now. We're home for the next 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. We got Cincinnati LaSalle coming in, a team that most people around here don't know much about. I don't think the Leopards have ever played them before. Tell us a little bit about LaSalle.
Well, they're a perennial state contender, right? A Catholic school from down in the Cincinnati area. Worked out last year, coming into this year that we were open week 9 and they needed a game. And
week 9 is not an easy week to fill.
It's not an easy game to fill. You always want to have a game that's, a winnable game late in the season to kind of get your guys back, hoping to get in the playoffs. But, this is a great game for to see where we're at as a program, right? A team that, has historically been in, state finals, making deep runs in the playoffs. Obviously a private school that has a lot of really good players. So again, wanting to test our guys to see, where we're at as a program, and, they're Division II, we're Division II. And, facing a team like this presents a lot of challenges. And, but our guys are up to this challenge, and, they got to make a long trip up here. And, their coach said this coming into the season, which I would agree with that. But, historically, he said this is going to be kind of a down year for them in terms of the overall talent they have, which there's not many gaps in their on their
they're
roster.
playing some really good competition. They're playing Moeller, playing X, they're playing Ignatius, and another team across the state border that's pretty good too.
Yeah. I mean, they play in the Greater Catholic League down there, so they got like an SEC schedule. So it's it's challenging for them, and for them to be willing to come up here and play us on a 1-year deal. We're excited about it. We're excited about the opportunity and excited to see, how our kids respond to this kind of challenge. And, if we want to be a state contender, these are the kind of teams we got to beat.
At some point, that'll be a team that you have to get through.
Yeah,
and it could be this year.
Yeah.
It could be next year, but it's definitely going to show your kids, what they need to do.
Yes.
And it might be Friday night that they do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, Coach. A couple other things about, upcoming the week. We've got, we got 2 home games in a row. We got LaSalle coming up and then Worcester following that. And this Friday night is our tackle cancer night, where the boys have been out selling tackle cancer signs, raising money for 2 area families. And I know you guys have been working hard at that. That's an exciting fundraiser that goes just so helpful to so many people. Yeah,
I mean, it's run through our Touchdown Club, which does a great job organizing this event, getting our kids the materials they need to go out and sell these signs. They're just yard signs that have Leopard Football logos and all the cancer ribbons and everything on them. And it's for a great cause, and our kids take it very, very seriously. They understand the benefits that this can bring to, and especially being, local families, that is going to directly impact, players and people directly affiliated with our program. So our kids are excited about the opportunity to go out and serve. It's a form of service, right? And that's one of the top goals of our program, is to develop servant leaders. And our kids understand this assignment and how serious that is, and they've done a great job going out and selling it. And we got kids asking for more signs to sell and all that stuff. So it's been a great thing, and it's a great cause. Year after year, this is numerous years we've been doing this, and it's really benefited a lot of people. So just happy our kids can be a part of that and really make a difference. Yeah, give back, make a difference. I know that most everybody watching this show and in this room has been affected in some way by cancer, whether it's a friend, a family, or themselves. And this is a way to help those people deal with a lot of things that they deal with and help to fight for a cure. Coach, again, great having you in here. I know you're doing great things. I know that I can just tell by looking at you that you are all business about getting the train moving back faster down the track. There were a lot of good things last week. I know that you're going to focus in on those and multiply those, as you always do, have the kids ready to play. It's exciting. We got 2 home games in a row in Louisville, and then we have a good chance of seeing some football after that too. Yeah. I think we've put ourselves in a good position by some of the teams that we've beat, that are beating a lot of other teams and getting us a lot of points for the playoff standings. So we got to finish the season strong, and really be riding a wave of momentum into the playoffs. And whether we get a home game or away game in the playoffs, if we're fortunate enough to make it, it's going to be a great experience for our kids. And I think we're excited for the opportunities ahead of us right now. Absolutely, Coach. Well, again, thanks for coming in tonight. Wish you the best of luck. Excited to see the kids. Just a final note about last Friday night. Again, another night where your kids kept swinging. They kept swinging to the end, and they kept putting the effort in to do the best they could. And I know that that will pay off at some point for them in some game. That extra swing will do what it needs to do. But again, Coach, thanks for coming in. Thank you for joining us tonight on Kappas Coaches Corner. We'll see you next week.
YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of Your Sports Network. For stories, stats, and more, go to ysnlive.com.